I catch it sometime. When you are sharing the screen, the everything moves in a different, I don't know, it has a different layout. Okay, perfect. So, um, and we're gonna continue. All these 5 days. We are building that woman that is gonna be in charge on writing the best chapter of your life. Okay. Um, so this was my turning point. Well, my my turning point was when on a very on a stormy afternoon, I came to my realization that I was not willing anymore to continue experiencing emotional madness, and this happened after my second divorce. So I remember that I was outside of the backyard in my daughter's house, and I was alone, dwelling and on my recent divorce, feeling deeply sorry for myself. So the storm, it was like because it was so, we was in the top of the hill, on top of the hill, and we have palm trees, it's super super those ones that are super tall, and it was thunder, and I saw the palm trees, like bending, oosh, almost touching the ground, and like oh my God. But I was holding so much in with me, and that it was like an invitation to scream to heavens, and to empty my heart. And anyways, nobody was in the house, and I'm in the top of the mountain. My neighbors are far away from each other, and I said, why not? So I remember at that moment I realized that God, it was just not God, but it was my father. I think um, we read so many times this, we, but we don't accept it. We don't comprehend that we have a heavenly Father. But at that moment, uh, it was maybe a revelation of the Holy Spirit that He is my Father, and I can talk to Him as my Father. So I screamed to the top of my lungs. So what is love? What is love? You know, that was my question. So I really wanted to understand with my entire being. Um, Surely I can tell you that I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared for the unholding of the answer to my question to God last night. So my transformation, so that was my turning point when to hear the word of God, the voice of God, of the Holy Spirit say, look within. I wasn't expecting that answer. I wasn't expecting, I don't understand what happened with him and what he did. I was like, me? Are you sure it's me? Yeah, it was me all along. So I was the urge to rethink my life choices and whys and the whys. So my new life started with a trip to Europe for 30 days alone. I never traveled before alone. I was waiting for a friend, and my friend also said, give me one day and give me 2 days. And I said, you know what, I have to go because it was an urge, like I have to go. So I on my trip I understood why I needed to go alone. My family was a little bit worried. Europe, I for traveled different countries in those 30 days, and but it was amazing because I understood that during the trip a lot of revelation came to my mind, to my life, and one was to reconnect with God, and the second it was to reconnect with myself. So I make a back to California. I hire a life coach and deep dive into the Word of God, making a massive personal changes. So my true essence arose. So I saw the true me, the true woman of love and light. And so my healing journey, facing unresolved issues, opened doors to enter into. a ravishing life. So I found love, a man that this is my bloom, and this is who I am. I remember the this is who I was, but not anymore. But who I am, this is the real me, and that's why it's important to find the real you, because this woman, no one can stop. No one can stop because knows where to go, where is she coming from, what she wants, why does she want what she wants. I mean, it is a life purpose, a voice. If I don't recover that voice that I lost, I won't be here. If I don't make all those life changes, I try, I won't be here either. I was not gonna be here with you. So that's why it is important to find the real you. Um, because of the steps that I did. This is also with my daughters. When we came to United States. This is our first 6 months, and but this is my family. I really wanted a family with love, with respect, that encourage each other, that is God in the family, that it is not, that clubbiness at home. This is what I wanted. I wanted so badly, and then God allowed me to do it. I work all of these years, I with the massive changes in my house too. My relationship is not the one I have with my mom or with my dad. I met my dad when I was 14. So I know the importance to have both parts together, it not necessarily in the same house. But my mom in her uh, in her anger, um, in her anger uh, took us away from my dad. And then I didn't have the opportunity to say that since I was a child. Then all the beliefs that I had about love, it was just gone because I knew that everybody deserved love because God is love. And then I found my man. We got married 2 years ago. I always wanted to get married in boots and hat, and I asked him, the day we'll get married, and he said yes, and here I am with my boots and hats. And I did my mastery for 4 years and on schooling at the age of 59. I had previous experiences in the prison Chino for women, and 7 years at the church. And my first but they didn't call it coaching. It was kind of a mentor, which is the Stephen Ministry that is for 1 year. That was my very first one. So in a way, I already had experience, and I already have um, certain knowledge. And along the way, because doing everything I did from personal trainer to holistic practitioner to all of this, but I wanted to go to school. That was another dream that I wanted, and so I embarked in 4 years of a school. I do two programs in those 4 years, and I became an author. I have 3 books. This is just a chapter, and working in my next dream. So I travel everywhere I want. I mean, 40 days in Mexico. I wanted to repeat my 30 days and in Europe because it was a great experience, and I wanted to repeat that. So after I graduated because it was a huge accomplishment, and I have the great opportunity. Half of the trip I travel by myself, and the other half I meet my daughter in Guatemala, and it was just an unbelievable trip. So all these countries are being and more to add this year, if it's God's will. So this is very important. This is know who you are. Sometimes that walking in through you need to become is not easy. It's sometimes a very lonely, uh, only lonely journey because our family, they are not going to understand because it's the matter of the heart. Sometimes people come to me that they never share what is happening in their lives, that especially the sexual abuse. And I was sexually molested when I was 4 years old. So not everybody is, and then at the age of 4 years old, I mean, and then you grow up and you're hiding, like you don't want nobody to know that. And then you feel guilty, which is a reason for. There's a reason for that. God, thank you, God. I understand that, and I can help people when that happened to them. But it's like you're carrying these secrets with you. So when people come to me, they open their hearts and they find trust in me. So that's why it's a lonely day, a lonely journey, because there's to revise our heart, to revise our inside, to revise the broken version of ourselves. It's not easy, but if you do it, if you take the chance to do it, this is this is the real you. And I have to tell you, the real you is there already. It is there already. It's been there since you're born, since you came to this world, and that's the great news. But this greatness is just is diminishing, shrink somewhere in you. So when you understand this little person in here, that who knows when that happened? It could be from your mother's womb. It could be from a an experience that you have, what you witnessed when you were a child, in your community, in the church where you go. I grew up in, again, in religion, which is very different from having a relationship with God. So it was, yes, you are in chain somehow. So, but this one right here is not for eternity. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this right now. So, um, yeah, I today we're gonna see 3 reasons why you lose your identity. Okay, before we go into that content, I have a few questions for you. So be ready, grab your pen, grab your paper, and let's breathe together and let's answer those questions. Okay, are you ready? Okay, what do you know? I title What Do You Know About Yourself exercise. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some time to answer the following questions. Don't think to answer too much. If you think, then we are creating our answer. Just boom. Like who I was a procrastinator. I mean, that was a big one. I have rejection issues. I mean, huge rejection issues. I have my low self-esteem was to the ground. So, but thank you, because I recognize all of those things. Then I was able to work. If you don't recognize those things, then there's nothing to work. There's nothing to do with that. So be true to yourself. Sometimes the more truth speak the truth to yourself, the more you're gonna speak the truth to others, and then you're gonna get back, because it's like a kind of boomerang. You know, am I saying it right? Yeah, I hope so. So even if you don't like what you're gonna write, just write it. Okay, speak from your heart. So let's breathe together in 7 times. Inhale, hold 7, and exhale in 7. 3 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And inhale. This is the time for me. I'm in the perfect time. This moment is being created for me. to become and to discover the real me. I accept love, kindness, and then exhale. And when you're ready, the first question is, who is your role model? It could be a celebrity, family member, coworker, or friend. Who is your role model? Who's somebody that you admire in your life? That you can say, oh my God, I would like to be her. I like what the way he talks. I like something like that. What do you admire that person? What is their character? You don't have to go in deep explanation. Just write, I like pom 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 pom. The next question is, what do you think about yourself? What do you think about yourself? What would you like to improve? What is in the way that doesn't allow you to be where you want to be? What is in the way that doesn't allow you to be where you want to be? Something that is related with your character. I get angry very easy. I whatever it is. I don't believe I can do it. It's impossible. Now I want you to make two columns. In the first column, write what you like about yourself. In the second column, you're going to write what you don't like about yourself. Two. The next question is 10 years from today, what do you see yourself doing? 10 years from today, what do you see yourself doing? And the last question is, what legacy would you like to leave for others to follow? All of this is important because it doesn't matter what others think about you, but what matters is what do you think about yourself? And when you're ready, just let me know with the hearts, balloons, something. How is everybody doing? Okay, thank you, Rosalie. Thank you, Tibia. This is a deep exercise. Just if you answer a little bit of each question, that is good enough. And the other question, you can dive deep into each of them on your own. Did I say? Did I mention the one who did your action step? They're gonna get an VIP coaching. All right. Well, yes. So do your homework. All right. So we're gonna go into three major reasons we lose you lose your true identity. So during a relationship, or being only a mom dedicated to your household and your children, or 100% dedicated to your job, or building a company because you were immersed on what you were doing and who you were at that moment of time, natural people tend to forget who they are. If like I can see people like working in the prison. I can say that because again, being a volunteer, I was witnessing a lot of stuff and the guards, and it doesn't matter if it's woman or man. They have to speak in a certain word. They have to act in a certain way. They have to stood up in the and everything is authority to show authority to the inmates. And I know a lot of people that work on the field. And then when they go home, they forget that they are not in the prison and they're doing their job anymore. They talk like this. I say, hey, wait a minute. So they forget to leave their shoes outside of the door, and then they are entering in their home. And I can see how their job shaped them. I met this lady. She was so sweet and so like petite, and she got that kind of job, and she came as sheriff. And through time, I mean, even the face, it was changing. It was more like this, and um, so your job can transform you that you forget who you are. The number two is the and another proof, evidence. Remember, evidence. Your life always is are going to ask you for evidence. So one of the evidences when people get retired, they go into the super deep depression because they don't know who they are. They don't know uh, this is my home. This is my life now. I mean, they terrify because until now they are the doctor, they are the sheriff, they are the janitor, whatever. It doesn't matter what kind of trade work you do, but that's who you are, and you forgot who you were. So the second one is the loss of true self. Also, is when you accept labels from people like your parents, partner, family, or culture. Labels my family and people put on me was I was a troublemaker. You are distracted all the time. You are lazy. But why they don't know why you are like that, especially when you are a child. I mean, I'm not gonna go into the whole story, but there was a lot of drama in my house. I mean, everything that we were doing in my home, it was nothing to do with what I was learning in church. So it was a lot of uh, 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 like living in duality. You cannot comprehend that. And then, yeah, of course, I was distracted at school. I went to sleep late because believe it or not, I was thinking, what happened? And what is going on in here in my home? What is this happening? What is that and that and that? So many questions. I know no one to answer me. So in school, I was falling asleep. My friends was when the teacher said, Lilia, Lilia, my friend says, Lilia, wake up. Of course, they tell my mom, and I didn't do the homework. I mean, because I was a daydreamer, because that was my escape. I was in my as a daydreamer. I was thinking I had the perfect life, you know. So yeah, I was washing the dishes and bam, I'm breaking a dish, and my mom said, "Oh, you break another dish, and then you're so distracted all the time." So all this stuff that it was call it whatever, miscommunication. She didn't have the skills to understand me as a single mom working and all the stuff that there was going on in there. So yeah, then you believe that, and it wasn't you, but then you eventually start put it on, and it's your daily, your skin. I call it skin because to get rid of them is kind of so you start dressing them wherever you go. And so those labels that eventually you made it your own, are external, but you make them your own. So you start living according to them, and then escalate more to the point of believing that I was unfitting mother because all of these issues. So we need to understand that where our family is coming from, because they had different life perspective. I mean, I don't have nothing against my mom. I never had it. Even she was living very, very, very interesting life, but I never have anything against her. So we need to understand also, like I was disrespectful because I ask questions. In the culture where I grew up, you don't ask questions. You don't. So, from the person perspective, you are who you are because from their glasses, their point of life. Just like our children see us different, right? So she never understood my personality because I born outside of the box. I was not. I was a fighter, and she didn't know what to do, how to deal with me. She didn't know what to do with my many questions. So those labels start dictating your thoughts, your behavior, attitude, decision, and everything. But today we're going back to ourselves and childhood trauma. Like when my mom left us with our grandparents, and she was gone for 2 years. So I understood that there was something wrong with me. Well, my mom left me, and I didn't hear from her. I think she came back a year later for Christmas, and she brought present, and then be gone again. That was, you know. So there is a reason why we take those into ourselves, because if you blame your mom at that 4 years old, blame your mom for why she left you. The mother and the father, they are the most important figures in growing up. So as protection, so it could be nothing wrong with them. So as protection, you blame yourself. There's something wrong with me. I don't deserve love. I'm unwanted. So that's you don't understand what is happening, but you make up something about what is happening. There's always, and then we make our pact. I will never, uh, I will never get married, so I don't have to suffer again. I will never find love because love it is painful. Who knows what is our pact that what we did at that moment of when we experiencing that. So childhood trauma also, um, because I believe that I didn't deserve love. That's why my mom deserted me. Even if she came back 2 years ago, I mean, the trauma already was there. When is she leaving again? And then guess what? I found partners that they they didn't they were not available for me as a confirmation of what I was believing. They left me. Why? That I was repeating. Remember, I told you that I was dying. I mean, dying like it was so much suffering, but it was not a woman that it was suffering. It was the child that has that trauma when her mom left me with my grandparents. So that's the child. When that child was healed, not anymore. So I'm sorry. There. So let me see. So back to your root. Reconnect with your spirituality and yourself. Thank you for the hearts. It's a new heart. Thank you. Why do we get stuck in fulfilling our dream life? After my first divorce, I hit it with a full wall of questions with no answers. And it was like throwing, just question to the void. Why it was so hard to build the life that I always dream of. To be loved, a family with love, respect, support. Here's the tricky part. The majority of people mirror what they witness in their childhood, back to the childhood. From the parents, then we go to the grandparents, and some people do the genealogy, the tree. But some people, they find out that there's pedophiles in your line. They were, especially if they went to war, like in Mexico, it was brutal. It was brutal. It was they went through a famine, no food, no nothing. So yeah, I mean, sometimes when you go through genealogy and know more about the history of your family, it could be very depressed. You know, alcohol, 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 alcohol. Prison, like when I was in the prison as a volunteer, these women. Um, they get out, they came back. They get out, they came back. Why? Because the the family, everything was in at home. The mother was drinking drugs, and then the grandparents, and they didn't know nothing else but a very poor lifestyle. So, but when I went all my generation and got to the root of Genesis, finally I had what I needed to build my dream life. I had the model to follow. I knew that I have everything that I need to succeed in in the world. From the moment from that moment I started acting like a princess because I realized God is the king, so I'm the princess. So through time I started taking position and ownership of being a princess. So well, I'm not talking about the princess, like uh, Disney present, the princess that is doing nothing and just waiting for the prince to rescue and for the long kiss and all the stuff. No, I'm talking about that's something that Disney is selling to. Well, I have the whole story about Disney. um, so I'm talking about the real duties that the princes have. Do you know them? Do you know anybody what's the duty of the princess? No, no one. All right, I tell you. The duties, there's ceremonial duties, of course, represent the royal family at events, participate in charities, or diplomatic activities. I mean, if you, okay, I see you representing the royal family at events, participating in charity, having a conversation. But from there, we go to diplomatic activities. I mean, that's a huge responsibility. I don't know if you ever saw Prince of Monaco. Yes, she was an actress. Well, she had to become the person that she needed to become in order to really represent the Prince of Monaco. So I'm talking about um, when as soon as I heard the king, immediately I saw myself as a prince. So what are the qualifications of a prince? What are the qualifications of a prince? Courage to facing fears, kindness, a gentle heart, because they know they go to a lot of charity events, right? Determination, never give up. Independence, standing on her own. That doesn't mean we don't need anybody. This is we can go through the whole thing right there, but this is a whole conversation about how to be independent, but also when you're in a partnership, depending of each other. So let's not misunderstand that part. Curiosity, exploring the world because you travel, and every culture has different things. Okay, so compassion, caring for others. So this is just not like again, it's not the princess. What's that princess in Disney? Blancanieves, right? Snow White, something like that. Okay. Now, are you ready for an exercise? You don't have to write anything in here. Okay. So just close your eyes. And imagine the woman that is in you waiting to come out and take ownership of your life. The woman that is building the best chapter of your life. And I have to tell you, the best chapter of your life never is going to end. Because when I thought that was my first chapter of my life, I'm living a better chapter every single day. It never ends. All right? So, um, that woman with self-confidence, a woman that knows where she is going, a woman that is not afraid to take a step of faith on the things that she wants to do, a princess that deals with responsibility with such wisdom, a royal princess that travels all over the world. So just look at her. Just look at her. Look, the Princess Timia, the Princess Rosalie, the Princess Debbie, the Princess Melina, the Princess Carrie. Look at her. What is she doing? What is she doing? How is she walking? Who is she talking to? How is her attitude? What kind of clothes is she wearing? Her shoes? What does she likes? Just observe her closely. How is she moving her hands? Her face? Who is around her? Who is around her? What is the places where she goes? Is she wearing a perfume? Can you smell the fragrance that she's wearing? What are her dreams? Is she laughing? Is she quiet? Is she thinking? What is she thinking? Now you're gonna start walking on her shoes. And now what are you doing? Who are you talking to? What are you wearing? Where you are? Where are you? What places do you go? Who's around you? You are a princess with kindness, determination, independence, curiosity, compassion, courage. Because after all, you are the daughter of the king. And before you open your eyes, look at yourself as a princess. Smile at yourself and give a big hug to yourself. A big hug. And say, I am back, stronger than ever. Stronger than ever. Inhale, exhale, and when you can, open your eyes. Okay, so this is the real you. This is the real you. Now, put in the chat what is just one of the characteristics of a princess that you can start implementing today. Today. Courage, kindness, determination, independence, curiosity, compassion. You can choose curiosity, exploring the world. That doesn't mean necessarily going to travel. Exploring your own world, your own surroundings, your daily life with curiosity. Not with like a, ugh, I hate to be here. No, curiosity. What am I doing here? You know, not like, what am I doing here with an attitude? What am I doing here? What is my job in here? What is my job in this job that I hate? Even that's curiosity. You are honest, but when you find why you're there, that can change the reason you're there. And that might bring joy and a desire to continue going there because now you know that there is a purpose for you to be there. Let's see the chat. I like this one, the connection with our spirituality, because where the Spirit of God is hovering, life transformation take place. I have to tell you, I have, after the encounter with God, after I tried to commit suicide, soon after, I have my first revelation. And I asked God, I didn't know how to change my life, my family dynamic, but I was begging him to help me because I have my little ones with me. I didn't know what I had. I didn't know how. I didn't know what exactly I wanted, but for sure I didn't want that life for them. So at that moment, going with a psychology for a short period of time to try to save my marriage, but even she helped us to end our marriage. So that's why it's very important the intervention of the Heavenly Father, because whatever He's gonna do, it's not gonna harm you. It's not gonna harm you, but people in their own life vision, they can harm your life. So I have I have the supernatural stuff start happening in your life. I couldn't comprehend because I didn't know anything about the Bible. I didn't know anything about our relationship with God. So it was not like I was prepared for that. I was totally unprepared. But things are happening so fast, so fast. And one of them, it was right after I go to sleep. It was a voice telling me, like, preparing me for the future. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know, but it was so like the information that I was receiving, it was for my life. And so this happened to me, that happened to anybody. When you start walking hand to hand with God. So I believe that where the Spirit of God is hovering, He restored completely my life. I mean, completely 100%, because He is life. He is love. I'm not going to go ahead of myself because that's going to be part of your homework. So when this client came to me, it was just unbelievable. She gave me the list, and I want to give you everything that she sent me for the first time. All the medications, therapy. She was on 15 years in therapy, 15 years, until she started working with me, and she has a drastic changes. I mean, the life that she was living, it was just. But she completed my full program though. It was she felt hopeless. She was in a strong medication, strong anxiety. Her love relationship, it was on the ground. Her self-esteem was super poor. I mean, it was. I like to. Those are my favorite because I know from the gloom to bloom. The title of my book. So I became more conscious of how certain habits alter my thoughts, moods, and my body. Through the coaching session each week, we were identifying and tackle several of my underlying issues, and we worked through them. Finally, I met someone who was able to help me find out what was really holding me back. I learned how to identify my negative thoughts and bad habits and examine them with compassion and curiosity. Yeah. I learned more appropriate ways to handle my triggers and just learn so much about myself. I am still doing the work today, but working with Lilia helped me break down emotional barriers that were creeping me for the last 15 years. I mean, this is amazing. I really enjoyed that experience, gained so much insight from it. Highly recommend Lilia's programs to anyone dealing with trauma, emotional baggage, or seeking nutritional counseling. I'm looking forward to continue working with her and discovering my best self. So everything starts with us. It's not a neighbor, it's not a society, it's not my ex-partner. No, everything starts with us. So questions and answers before I give you the action steps. Open your microphones and ask me anything you want.
Can you forgive me quickly, Lilia, because I didn't turn up because I was still with my client. Sorry, ladies, I just wanted to put in. I apologize to Lilia and you ladies for not being here.
That's okay. Thank you, Debbie. Timia, Rosalie?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about when you were going through your awareness, is how I see it. Is is the conclusion for you that, because you said you didn't know about the Bible, you didn't know about God, you didn't know, when you became aware, did you feel like he was always there? Like it was always present? It was just an awakening for you to see that you were always loved, you were always not alone, and he was always there?
At the moment when I swallow the battle pills, um, and then I lost conscience 100%, and I was I don't know 2 or 3 days. I just remember when I was I don't know, it was hard to explain, like where I was coming out of that unconsciousness. I remember that somebody was hugging me, but it was such in a strong way that it was not just like the physical touch, but it was like he was at that moment, through that to that closeness is where I felt that he was there all the time, that he was just telling me how much he loves me. It was like it is hard to explain because I never felt that before. And I understood at that moment, like when I walk from religion, I walk from God. But here, the God that I was feeling, he wasn't judging me. He wasn't asking me questions. He wasn't questioning the life that I had. I had a very worldly life, though. But there was nothing there. It was just, I am with you. We're gonna walk together. That was the kind of message I was getting. From today, we're gonna walk together. From today, it's you and me. That was the message that I was getting. I didn't want to wake up when I was feeling that love, that compassion. I didn't want to. I wanted that forever. I wanted to have that forever. Soon after, somebody. I have two bookcases from the bottom to the ceiling, wall to wall, with books. I used to read a lot. And it was this Bible that living there for almost 5 years or six, I never saw it. I never saw it. Right after when I started talking with God, that was my first thing that I realized that I was talking with Him, and before I didn't. I wasn't talking with Him. But from that moment, I started. So, what do you think about this? So, like He was there, because when He showed up in my in that encounter that I had with Him, it was so vivid that I think from there I just started sharing my life with Him, my daily life, my daily doubts, my fears, my everything. So I don't know if that answered your question, but somebody left this Bible, and the first thing that I opened, I remember it said to bring the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, and the rest will come by itself. I didn't understand what he meant. What is the righteousness? What is the kingdom of heaven? But he said the rest will come by itself. I had the little Bible with me. It was very teeny. And I said, okay, but I understood the last part. Everything will come by itself. I didn't have no food, almost no food. my daughter's father didn't bring money. I was about to be out of the house because they know where I was gonna go. Uh, so I took the Bible to my refrigerator and I told him, you know what? I don't know what you mean by this, but at the end, you're saying everything will come by itself. Because if you see my refrigerator is empty, my pantry is empty. So if you tell me, if you tell me what you meant by this, I promise you that I'm gonna follow to the T. And I think that was my commitment with him, which he kept his word. Because I have to tell you, um, soon after a year later, I came to USA. I prepared a little bit myself with a little bit of money, and one of these days, if you want, I can share with you my whole story, which is incredible, miracle after miracle after miracle, like until today. But yes, that was the if I that did I answer your question?
Yeah, in a sense it does, because it kind of confirms for me like the life that I've had and where I have felt that presence like you speak of. We can never put a word to it, but we know what it feels like
Yeah.
for us. And I've always wondered, has anybody else experienced that too? But because we don't know how to talk about it or express it, you're going to hear a lot of similarities. Like it just feels so similar. What you're saying is what's also happened to me. Like you said, miracle after miracle after miracle. And come to realize, I think for me personally, growing up, is that I had a misconception of God and church and religion.
Yes. Yes.
And for me, it was the awakening or the awareness that I was reading him wrong, because I was being brought up that way. God's going to punish you for this, and God is this evil person, when in reality he is the greatest love we will ever experience, and it's always been there, and it has never left us. It was there when he created us to the day we die, to forever, for eternity. It's never going to go away. When I realized that and I heard it for the first time, it brought me to tears, like uncontrollable tears. And I was watching it on a YouTube video, and I had to stop it, because what he just said, that I matter and that I'm not, we, in our culture, we grew up as women don't question, like you say, you don't question, you're going to submit to the man, you're going to be a good wife, all these things that he was saying, as if we were second class citizen, even in society, in the world, women are not taken.
Yeah, but just remember that's religion. Religion is
Yes,
been, but I mean, I don't know if that is for when I go to some countries, are this it is the same because they went with the same message, and it was about control. Christianity is not like that. Christianity is it teaches a relationship with God, not
exactly.
a religion, and really religion was but that's another uh, for another time. But and it is being created to control the masses.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. And that's where I was like wondering if you felt that too, because I feel that now, that he was always there.
Well, looking
It was
back,
me that couldn't see it.
looking back, everything that happens to me for it was actually was for me, including everything,
Good
because
and
we
the bad.
come with a purpose on this life. So, um, because I went through all of this trauma, I can help all of these people that, and even, I mean, younger, before even go decades into a toxic life, actually helping them, understanding them, because I already walk in the same thing that they are walking. So in a sense, that he was all I mean, why this happened, that's why we're here. That's why I'm here, because I overcome all of this trauma, overcome and sustain. Some people overcome, but not they don't sustain the life.
Yeah.
You win the lottery, but you don't. I mean, it doesn't matter how many millions and millions and millions of dollars people win, they lose everything because they cannot sustain. So you need to be prepared as a solid ground in order to sustain something. It doesn't matter what it is. So, that's why you can experience the best chapter and the best chapter and the best chapter. It never ends. It's not temporary because the work, personal growth is every day. Personal is a personal practice. It's when you are like a solid person. Otherwise, it's like a fake foundation or temporary foundation, and then you go back into what you know into what you know. It doesn't matter how terrible was your life. That's why people in prison, they back to prison over and over and over and over. So, any other question? If not, we have your action steps. Huh. Feel like a princess, walk like a princess, and act like a princess. So, today, this is very important because it's going to confirm what we talked today. Find out the qualities of God. So, and choose one of the characteristics of a princess that you are going to start applying today. You put it in the chat, right? I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. So, who do we see in the? You put it on the chat. On the chat, where is the chat? Right here. Okay, sorry, Lilian. Finish my client. Okay, kindness. Rosalie is gonna start practicing kindness. Beautiful. Melina, mindful on my words. Beautiful. Lilia, I appreciate your creating this space for allowing me to be part of it. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Melina. We are gonna get to know you better. And Timia, did you write anything?
Hi, no, I'm driving right now, so I'm not really going to be able to write anything.
Oh,
But
perfect. So which
as
one
far as like kindness goes, I think I have that down.
is
Maybe like
you want me to read you again?
patience.
Courage, kindness,
No, I
determination,
have courage. Patience is
independence.
something that I need.
Okay, determination,
Patience.
patience. Okay,
Hmm.
that will be in the compassion. Well, yeah, we're reading the characteristics of a princess. Well, patience is yeah, it has to be one of them. Okay, curiosity and compassion. Well, okay, Timia is gonna use patience. Perfect. Perfect. So, if there's any question about the action steps, and remember, action step is an evidence, okay? An evidence of what we want to do. Tomorrow is going to be very interesting, and unleash your inner strength through forgiveness. That's a good one. So you don't want to miss this. I'm going to stop recording.